All right, everyone, the numbers are in for Treasure Island and Seychelles in Panama City Beach for August 2022. I'm Craig Duran with the Duran Group over at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. And for those of you who are familiar with this video series, I'm going to start to do things a little bit different. So if you're not familiar with it, I guess it wouldn't be terribly different to start with. We've been doing a lot of these individually for certain condo projects and neighborhoods. We've been just filming one video at a time to look at the market month after month. To track and see how things are going. I'm going to start over time to combine some of these now. I think it's interesting to point out that not all condos move in similar directions. Not all neighborhoods move the same. Just because the housing market's doing one thing or just because the condo market's doing one thing doesn't mean that all of those markets are doing the same thing. So it'd be interesting to start to compare some of these to see some of the similarities and differences in the project. So you may have seen it a couple days ago where we released Calypso, which I thought was very, very interesting to see a pretty big shift from July to August. You might have seen also after that, we did Hidden Dunes and Ensoleil. Interesting there to see some pretty strong prices still coming in on sales in those two buildings. So let's take a look at Treasure Island and Seychelles and see what we can learn here. If you watch the Calypso video, this is the same chart I used there. So this is comparing just condos built since 2006, since Treasure Island and Seychelles are some of the newer projects. Remember, the red line again represents the number of units for sale. We know since March, April of this year that supply levels have really come up. There are more condos available for sale. We're almost back to sort of pre-pandemic levels of inventory or supply. I'm a big fan of this months of inventory number. It's an important number to track. Back in January, we were at 0.5 months of inventory, 0.51, half a month of inventory. Theoretically, that means we would sell a condo. The whole process of putting it up for sale, showing, negotiating, closing would happen in half a month, 2 weeks. That's how hot the market was back in January. We were following that that the market was cooling off slightly. April, we were up to 1.52. By June, we were at 3.15. Last month, I thought it was interesting because it was such another big jump from 3.15 to 7.56. Now, in terms of numbers, 3 to 7 doesn't sound like much, right? That's just 4. Doesn't sound like a huge number. But if you think about it in terms of percentages, 3.15 to 7.56, 7.56 is more than twice 3.15. So it means we're twice as slow as we were just in June. If you think about it, comparing it to January, if we were 0.5 in January, that means we were what? 1, 2, 6, 12, 14, almost 15 times slower in July than we were in January. And now look at August, 10.35. We've slowed down some more. Instead of taking 7.5 months to sell your average newer condo, anything built since 2006, it's now looking like 10 plus months. I do think, and I'm still working with our MLS system to try to find a workaround for this. I do think all of the action at Shores of Panama is skewing that number a little bit. As of yesterday, there are 80 units for sale. And if you look across everything I'm comparing here, there's only 207 total. So of the 207 units for sale, newer ones, 80 of those are in Shores of Panama. So I would contend that this month's of inventory number, it's a little misrepresentative of what might really be happening. I don't think the market's quite that soft. I think it's probably more in line with this 6 or 7 months of inventory number, but I'm going to work on getting a chart so we can see the specifics. If you look at Treasure Island, getting into the specifics of Treasure Island and Seychelles, since there's less data to track, the chart will always bounce around a little bit more. We're only looking at a small sampling of units, but you can see the idea is still the same. Supply levels have come up from March to April. Right now, because there weren't any sales in August, we don't have a months of inventory number, but Treasure Island's been selling, sort of outpacing the market. Look, in May was at 2 months. It actually improved to a month, 1.5 months in June and July. Seychelles, same idea. It's tough to track and get any kind of consistency, but again, you can sort of look here briefly and see that, yes, inventory levels are up again there. And it's also softened from 0.5 months of inventory, which was similar to the rest of the market in January, slowed down to 3 months in July and 6 months in August. So again, Seychelles is probably outpacing the market, meaning it's probably one of the more popular buildings. But 6 months of inventory is still very much neutral market at best. Remember, in the months of inventory discussion, 4 to 5 months of inventory is neutral or normal. That would be about the normal amount of time to work through the process of putting something up for sale and then getting to closing. So 6 months is just getting into buyer market territory. Again, the longer we hover in buyer market territory, you wouldn't be surprised to see pressure on pricing, because that just means there's so many units for sale. And at some point, someone who really wants to sell something, their only choice is to reduce the price to be competitive. We're not there yet. And I don't know that we're quickly heading in that direction, but now that we're eking into these 6-7 months of inventory, we're going to have to watch this for a month or two. From a pricing standpoint, and I guess this is interesting to note, between Treasure Island and Seychelles, we only had one sale in August, and it was one of the one bedrooms over at Seychelles, one of the ones with the Gulf front bedroom. $535 was the closing price. I purposely didn't pick, although I can probably do it pretty quick. Let's just take a look and see if there's anything also under contract and give us kind of a idea of what's happening. Yeah, another one in Seychelles, one of the one bedroom, two baths with bunks, is under contract. The asking price there is $479,900. That means that the asking price is that $479,900. There is a contract in place, buyer to buy that. We don't know what the sales price is yet. When it closes, though, we'll show that. So a little less activity. Again, I'm not terribly surprised by that. In July and early August, it's harder to show condominiums. So many of these that are rentals are hard to get in and look at. So it's hard for a buyer to evaluate what they really want to look at. However, we know we have these economic headwinds. So we're wondering, are people going to come back into the market August, September, October, when it's a little easier to see units, or are people on hold, more people on hold generally with condo purchasing? Right now, we're softer than we have been. It's not extremely sluggish, but I think we have to reset our expectations if we are selling a condo, that it isn't just going to happen overnight. We're talking about it's back to a normal real estate process of what can be a months-long thing to put something up for sale before you get to a contract and get it sold. Could be 4, 5, 6 months. Some of these numbers are showing us 7 to 10. So depending, I guess the last thing I would point out with that is fundamentals become that much more important. So proper pricing is important. We can't just arbitrarily shoot for the moon. We have to be in line with recent sales depending on what you're offering. Marketing has to be fantastic. And this is what I think real estate agents have gotten away with, not having to do great marketing for the last couple of years, because all you had to do was whisper condo for sale and you had 5 offers. Now, marketing matters. Running digital ads, running digital retargeting ads. Make sure you're running ads to places outside of Panama City Beach, because most of the buyers for this stuff are somewhere else. You've got to be involved in YouTube and social media and GMB and email marketing and websites and blogs and all these kinds of things. You have to be a master digital marketer, and you have to be doing things offline, and you have to be working with agents. So if you're thinking about putting something up for sale, make sure you're working with someone that's their mindset. Marketing will become that much more important just to get this out in front of buyers, since there are fewer buyers than there were 6 months ago. So hopefully that helps you guys understand what's happening in Treasure Island and Seychelles. I think the next video we're going to release is going to include Long Beach. I'm going to go central part of the beach a little bit. I'm going to put together a Long Beach, Majestic Beach, and Grand Panama. They're a little bit different ages, different setups. But again, I want to kind of start to put some of these together so we can see how different buildings are doing. So 9 minutes, 46 seconds of joy there for you. Again, I'm Craig Duran with the Duran Group, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. Thanks for watching.